Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, a podcast where we discuss horror in media. And tonight, beware the moon, as we explore the Howling and American Werewolf in London. I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
I'm Justine.
And I'm Jonathan.
So, Mitch, you were gone last week.
Yeah, I was in Nevada doing a
No.
funeral service for my grandma. What?
How was your trip in South America doing ayahuasca?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right, my ayahuasca trip. Well, I saw some shit, learned some shit, and I took at least one shit while I was there, if I remember correctly.
Pretty sure you threw up on that, right?
Yeah, no. I have a very strong stomach. Lead belly, they call me.
Yeah.
Lead belly.
Where'd you get that name?
Lead belly.
Tell us the story.
Well, it's because of all of the alcohol I can totally drink and all of the other shit. I mean, I like mushrooms.
Oh, totally.
They're kind of like pumpkin seeds, you know? Drugs. Don't do drugs, kids, or you'll be like me.
Fun fact.
You became a new man.
I did. It was new.
Fun fact, Mitch can't drink for shit.
It's true, actually.
No, you didn't hear that from me.
Your size is deceiving because you're like, how tall?
I'm like 6 foot,
Yeah.
and I'm like 250 pounds. 258 pounds, maybe.
You have one beer and you're like giggling.
It's
True.
over.
It's true.
I cannot do more than. Yep, I can't do more than that. That's pretty much how it goes. It's pretty bad. I've been drinking a lot lately.
Yeah.
Which isn't like it isn't like a problem, you know. None of my friends have been like, we're interventioning you. No more liquor store trips at 2, like when they're closed, and like just
They
pounding
put the
at the
locks,
door
they
going,
put the padlocks on there.
Yeah.
man, the
They're gonna-
booze is in there and I know it is.
They're going to lock the fucking sink up because, you know, everyone has a fucking bottle of something underneath their sink.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, you know, it's like
Is that really people keep
whatever.
their
What the
booze?
fuck is that? What the fuck is that mouthwash? Yeah, I just drink mouthwash, you know.
Oh,
usually,
fuck.
you know,
It's
and these
cheaper.
are trying
It's
times.
basically absinthe.
Trying times. Need some good mouthwash to get you fucked up.
All right,
yeah.
first things first. Fuck Donald Trump.
Whoa.
You lost
Yeah.
the fucking election. Get over it.
Bunch of losers.
Crybaby
fucking
mutt.
Time to
baby.
hang up that MAGA flag.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sell it, but I don't think anyone's buying.
No one's buying it.
Y'all know the real reason he's pushing back so hard is because as soon as he's out of that office, they're going to fucking arrest him.
Ah, what a great day. Anyway,
What a
moving
great
on.
day.
Anyways.
So,
That was fun.
That was fun.
the year is 1981. It is the year of the Lycan, as in werewolves. We had 3 werewolf movies in this year.
Really?
Yes. In, I believe, summer, we had Wolfen by Michael Wadley.
Oh, that's right.
And then we had American Werewolf in London in fall. And then in the spring, we had The Howling.
Ow.
So in 1981, there were 3 werewolf movies that were made. And today we're going to be discussing 2 of them.
It's probably a response to the vampire movies.
Makes sense.
It's like, yeah, you like vampires? What about werewolves,
I
man?
mean,
Team Jacob.
I mean, all of them are. I mean, yes, Team Jacob, but still.
Nah, fuck
What?
Team Jacob.
No,
It's
fuck
all
that
about
dude.
Team Edward.
That
Oh,
dude-
I don't know about Edward. I just like vampires.
It's like, I think you just like the actor who plays Edward.
Oh yeah, no.
Shark Boy's
he's alright.
Shark Boy. Fuck Shark Boy.
Shark Boy's all right.
Shark Boy and Loud Girl suck. No, I'm just kidding.
Bro,
Yo,
The movie was
You
you
don't
great.
can't go there.
you don't like George Lopez's big embossed face on a fucking robot?
Oh man.
It's like, did you mean Spy Kids? Anyway, moving on.
Hey, Spy Kids is pretty great.
Spy Kids
Yeah,
is great. That's
Spy
a
Kids
that's a
is
phenomenal
dope.
movie. Also exists in the Machete universe, so whatever.
Machete.
Thank you, Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, like literally Machete is fucking credited
It's
in
their
the
uncle.
fucking movie. Yeah, that's Uncle Machete. Just like, does that mean that a flying pig also exists in that universe? And
Yes.
fucking what's his face fucking flies in on?
Sylvester Stallone.
No, the other guy, the fucking guy from all the fucking Quentin Tarantino movies.
Oh,
Was
wow.
it Christopher Waltz?
No. It's the
No.
dude with the sunken in eyes.
Oh, he played Randall in fucking Monsters
Buscemi.
Inc.
Oh.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
No.
On
Who
a
delivers
flying
that
fucking
wild
pig.
line.
Did someone call in a loon? Just like,
Wow, we got sidetracked.
Anyways.
this podcast episode is about werewolves, right?
Yes.
Is
Okay.
it? Is it
Yeah.
really though?
I chose these movies because we haven't done a werewolf movie in quite some
I
time.
should have done Underworld, dude.
Those are vampires.
What? It's vampires versus werewolves. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but same with Twilight.
Sort of.
I mean, they center on the vampires.
Yeah, they do center
I feel
on
like
that.
every vampire movie / show has to have werewolves in it.
Yeah, it's always there.
I mean, the underworld movies are their own thing.
Yeah.
Not just straight werewolves. You know, Dog Soldiers was straight werewolves.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
No, but Underworld is like the combination of the vampires versus werewolves.
Same with like Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Had both of them in it.
Yeah.
But they had Frankenstein in that one.
Yeah, also Frankenstein. We should do that movie.
I
one
did
day.
enjoy that one.
a good one.
They also had Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Van Helsing and fucking League of Extraordinary Gentlemen would be a fun.
That's a good
combo.
combo.
A fun combo of
Yeah,
movies.
definitely.
Anyway, Merc, we're digressing right now. Please save us.
Wait, what?
We're digressing.
Oh,
Save
yes.
us.
Okay, so we are talking about The Howling and American Werewolf in London. We're going to start with The Howling, though. So The Howling was released in the spring of 1981. It was directed by Joe Dante. And we've talked about Joe Dante a little bit. He did Piranha, Gremlins, and Small Soldiers.
Yep, sounds
And
on brand.
Small Soldiers is pretty funny. I like that. I like that one.
You talking about the kids movie?
Yeah, the kids movie where all the fucking toys come to
What a
life.
transition! What the fuck?
Yeah, right. But he did Gremlins, so it makes
But
sense.
he did Small Soldiers last, right? That came out in like the 90s.
He did.
Yeah. Okay. That's weird.
The special effects were done by the one and only Rob Bottin, which we know from Piranha, as well as the motherfucking thing from John Carpenter.
Yeah, there's a theme here with all of our episodes. We're starting to notice that literally the group of like 20 people made all horror films.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that changes every now and again is maybe a rogue writer and a random director.
Yeah. All
Like,
the good boys are the
Same
best
group
boys.
of people who do these movies. You just got to get on the in crowd.
Yeah, it's just like Rob Bottin, you got your Tom Savini's,
Fucking Tom Savini. Oh my god.
Guncock, you know. So this movie was based on the novel The Howling by Gary Bradner. The budget for the movie was $1.5 million and the box office was $17.9 million. So they made their money back pretty well.
Very original for the time. I don't think there was really anything else that came out like it. So I could see it making its money easy.
This movie stars a couple of decent, well-known actors. Dee Wallace plays Karen White. Dennis Duggan as Chris Halloran. Christopher Stone as the sexy mustache man R. William Bill Neal. Belinda Blasky as Terry Fisher. And first-time appearance in a movie, Elizabeth Brooks as Marcia. Also, Robert Picardo as Eddie. Just a little bit of the production behind the movie. Rick Baker was originally supposed to do the effects for the movie, but took off to do the American Werewolf in London. Then the torch was handed to Rob Bottin, who worked with Dante on Piranha, and then he used this on his resume to get in with John Carpenter on the thing.
Nice.
So after John Carpenter saw this, he's like, "Yeah, this guy's
They're
pretty
all
good."
connected, man.
They're all fucking connected.
It's all connected.
Piranha was made in like the fucking 70s, wasn't
Once
it?
you find that person you like working with, they will be with you for however many movies until they fail.
Yeah, I think he did Piranha, and then he became an extra and was like the captain dude in The Fog, and
That's awesome.
then finally came to do the thing, and then everyone shitted and cummed.
At the same
the
time.
same
Consider your pants peed.
So a fun fact is that Robert Picardo improvised a line, "I want you to give a piece of my mind," when he took out the bullet in his skull during the transformation scene. And he had a hard time on set because he would have to deal with 6 hours on makeup.
Yeah.
So he
Looks good, though.
It does look great. There is a part where he was just like, "I got a fucking degree at Yale. I've been working in Hollywood for many years, and my first fucking thing for a movie is a fucking shitty horror movie." That's what he fucking said. Other than that, the final transformation had to be done all in close-ups because the movie had exceeded its budget by then. That's when Karen turns into the cute, like, puppy doll fucking werewolf Chewbacca-looking thing.
Chewbacca!
Then it just gets shot.
They had to be shot in Joe Dante's office because they had no money for sets anymore. The movie won a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film and has been nominated for Saturns for Best Makeup and Special Effects. And the porn that they used in the film was made specifically for the movie.
So you're telling me they had to officially shoot a porn?
The porno is in American Werewolf in London.
No, they're in both films.
What? No.
Yes, they are.
no
Do you not? Do you
porno in
in the
fucking The
in the intro scene where she goes to the adult shop and he
Yeah.
says go
Oh,
into the
never
booth,
mind.
and then
I
you
got
see
you.
a girl getting raped. They had to make that porn for the
Yikes.
exact movie.
So, so they took part of their budget to make that.
Yeah, they did.
Yikes.
It's not as funny as the American Werewolf in London, though. So I guess we'll just start. And what were your initial thoughts about these movies? Or what was your initial thoughts on The Howling?
The Howling was too serious. I don't know. Something about watching werewolf and vampire movies, sometimes they do better when they're not so serious. And this one was a little too serious, almost to the point of being melodramatic. And then there was certain parts that were really good, though. Like, some people were really fucking good. Like, Eddie was really good whenever he was being creepy and, like, saying his lines and his, like, face is melting off because of all the good makeup they put on him. That was good shit.
He hams it up as just like some guy that makes you very uncomfortable.
He loves being the dude who comes in and it's like he knows he's invincible and is just, like, wrecking face with everybody. So he was a good character to see.
There was that scene where he comes in, he's like, "Come on, bright boy, take a shot."
Hands him the gun because he thinks he's going to survive the shot. And he's like, "Fuck you, I got silver bullets."
Consider this a gift. My own death.
I like the dude who's like, "Thank God," when he gets shot.
That was great. Like, thank God, and then dies. It was great.
What were your initial thoughts?
I didn't know what to expect from either of these movies because I think I was like aware of I was a werewolf of
Yeah. You didn't tell the dad joke. You got to do the joke.
Yeah, what's the dad joke?
Yeah.
oh shit.
Oh yeah, what do you call a werewolf
We call sleeping
sleeping.
werewolf.
that is sleeping? An unaware-wolf.
Oh, you're such a silly goose.
Slaps me loudly.
There was another one. It's like, why are werewolves better than vampires?
Why?
Because werewolves don't have problems with steaks.
Wow.
I have a problem with steak. I don't like steak. I think that shit's stupid. Who just eats a slab of
Found
meat?
the vampire guys.
Hiss.
Or the
Right, yeah, I think we
rather,
found the
actually,
vampire in the
werewolf,
room.
The werewolf, whatever. Anyway, so dad jokes aside, I didn't know what to expect from either of these movies other than werewolves. I keep wanting to say vampires every time, but you know, they're so interchangeable for some reason. And then what I got is like, I really, I mean, with the Howling anyway, it was very much, it was very dramatic and really serious, and it was also a really slow start too.
Oh yeah, that's true. It was a really slow start.
Yeah, it's really slow.
You get that trigger-happy cop, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Wait, so I had a question. Are they not all able to transform, or did they explain that at all?
They are all able to transform, but only on their own will. I believe they have the ability to change when they want to.
Yeah, I'm guessing budget had something to do with it, but still.
There are multiple types of werewolves in the mythology. You've got, like, if I'm quoting Dresden Files here again, you've got, like, loup-garous, who are werewolves that cannot control the form that they take. So the full moon comes out, then they transform. Then you have stuff like hexen wolves, which can transform at will, which is what most of these ones do in the Howling. And then you have other ones that use items or like magical, like some sort of magical item or something that allows them to do so.
It's like, yeah, like Scooby-Doo. No.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I was going to bring that up. Like the idea of lycanthropy, basically werewolves, it's a very interesting topic. Do you guys know anything about like lycanthropy and like myth, legend, or
Wait,
magic?
before we get there, Justine has to tell us what she thought about the movie.
Yeah, guys, just gonna skip
Holy
right over
fucking
me.
shit! All right.
As expected. Anyways.
I'm gonna walk
fucking
out.
Bunch of dudes. Anyways.
Brutal.
Yeah, I mean, initial thoughts, I thought this was like a really fun like 80s movie. Like, it's what I would expect from an 80s movie. I can't say I was like that into it because I'm just not the biggest fan of werewolves. I think they're cool and all. I'm more of a vampire gal myself. But yeah, I definitely thought it was slow to start, but once it picked up, like the action really picked up and it made it pretty interesting to watch. Although I was kind of, well, I'm not going to do any spoilers yet. We'll get to the ending later.
Right. I mean, I too agree. I think vampires are a little bit cooler than werewolves.
Nah, Werewolf King. What?
You look like a fucking
Yeah,
werewolf.
you're fucking
Yeah,
hairy.
I got enough hair
Yeah,
for
fucking
it.
hairy
Are you kidding me?
ass.
I'd have to like shave everything to be a pretty vampire. So I'm down with the werewolves being hairy and
I mean,
transforming
But
whenever they
babe,
want.
you're a
Plus,
pretty
they can still eat
werewolf.
food. Vampires can't eat.
I know, I don't think that many people have seen that show, What We Do in the Shadows, but there's a scene where vampires encounter werewolves, and to get rid of one of them, they throw a squeaky toy over the side of the building.
That's great. I love that.
He dives off the fucking building. So, that's the thing.
Plus, they have extended lives, not immortal lives, so I'm cool with that.
You always talk about how you want to be immortal, though.
Yeah, but like computer version, like put my brain in a jar and stick me to a robot.
Man.
Yeah,
Lane,
on some
John.
chappy shit.
But then you wouldn't even
Yes.
be able to eat.
Oh, I'm cool with transpiring that if I get hooked up to the internet. This
Oh,
is specific things. This is specific things.
Upload John everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, then that'd be great if I could live on the internet. That'd be awesome.
You'd be like, damn, look
but
at
like
these fucking memes.
when I'm old and like I'm
Mad.
sick of the body, you know. Anyway.
You want to be Mr. House in New Vegas.
Yes, that's a weird reference.
Running a
but
whole fucking city in your fucking tube.
I don't know if I'd have enough, like, I don't know, what's the word? Patience to run a whole city. I would just be fucking around, doing random shit.
In regards to the special effects, though, how did
Pretty
you
good.
feel about the special effects in The Howling?
Still hold up pretty good. Still slimy and creepy like you would expect from that fucking special effects person.
I really like the severed arm one where it's pretty clearly like a balloon, but they had like two different balloons that simulated a hand. And I don't know, I really like that. It was really kind of just gross looking. And that was like the first time you see some really intense gore in this one too, is when she lops the arm off of the werewolf.
And then it like transitions into a human's hand, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I feel like that's always been a common thing that happens with werewolves. When they're killed, they usually transform back to their human forms.
What do you think of the special effects, Justine?
I'm always a big fan of practical effects, and that shit was gnarly. Although I have to say that wolf transformation, the doctor's office, took way too long.
Yeah. It's like, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And she's just standing there.
And it's just
Yeah,
kind of like,
it's so
I guess he's
stupid.
bad.
She had
I
so
guess.
much time to just book it out of there, but now she just had to sit there in silent horror, like, oh my god. Wait for him to do the full transformation and throw some acid on him. Like, come on.
And it looked like a
on.
jar of pee to me. It just looked like
Yeah.
they put some apple juice there, chucked it out.
Probably was some apple juice, not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Take sip on it in between cuts.
So how do you feel about the transformation scene, though? Is it too long?
It's way too long in the Howling.
But it looks good. He's pretty gross. And like when he has those red eyes and the bubbling skin underneath.
It's definitely disturbing.
Yeah,
it's
for
what you would
sure.
expect. Like, it's kind of like when you saw the creatures turn into whatever they were in the thing, and you're like, oh fuck, that's like a head walking around on the floor, or the body opening up, like the chest cavity opening and just eating that dude's fucking arm. So it's like, it's cool to see that. I think I'm too used to the quick transformation that you see, like where they just rip off their skin and go.
Right. We're used to that shit. Where it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
rips off shirt, howls at moon, bam, full doggy.
That's a
Full doggy.
Full doggy.
Oh my
Is
god.
that your next porn of you?
Yes, it is.
Rip shirt off.
Can
full
we just
doggy.
call it that from now on? Every time someone transforms, like, yeah, they went full doggy.
They went full fucking
Doggy
doggy.
right there.
Wait, what's the vampire version then?
Full fucking bat.
Not as funny,
but it still
works.
Well, full baddie, I guess.
Full baddie.
Full went full baddie this day.
Bullatio.
Although, nice. Nice.
I was just thinking like suck, because vampires suck. What else do you suck?
Do they though?
Hey, full on head.
Popsicles.
Eh.
Lozenges.
How did we get here?
See, it's kind of hard to talk about werewolves without bringing up vampires.
Right, because they're always
Yeah.
placed against each other.
And the fangs too. I was almost convinced.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is like some vampire shit. And then they get hairy, and you're like, okay,
Oh,
now it's a
yeah,
werewolf
yeah.
now.
I always wondered though, why is it that they're always placed together? Because there's sort of like two different premises. I mean, you don't really put dogs and bats together.
I think it's the bite turning someone into the thing.
Ah, yeah.
I think that's really what it is. You bite by vampire,
Yeah.
you turn vampire. You bite by werewolf, you turn werewolf.
It's not consistent across all vampires and werewolves though.
True.
No, I
Some
thought
have more intricate, like ritualistic processes of becoming one or the other.
right. I think I enjoy those more when they have like a whole process that happens. Where, like, you have to be bitten like on this certain night, and you have to have this ritual, and then you go through this transformation. It adds more to that story. But
Yeah.
also, isn't one like a branching off of the other? Like, I think werewolves were like a hybrid of a vampire or the reverse. Somewhere along the way, I think they like broke apart and had like the original origin.
You ever see that video where it's like, oh, he's a Nazi zombie, and now he got bit by a vampire. Does that make him a Nazi zombie vampire? Oh shit! Now the Nazi zombie vampire has been bitten by a werewolf. Does that make him a werewolf Nazi zombie vampire? Oh shit! Now here comes the plague. What is he now? Just like
Infested Nazi vampire werewolf zombie.
Oh yeah, man, I liked Iron Sky too as well.
Yeah, shit. Well, that's the thing. You bring up a good point with like how transformations and rituals happen. I want to know
Right.
if you guys know anything about mythology or like history or like certain forms of magic that have to do with lycanthropy.
There are conditions that people have had in the past where they grow excessive amounts of hair on themselves. So you have like a medical history with werewolves as well. So that kind of thing, kind of like the witch's broom sort of thing as well. Where it was like something that people did that got blown up as what it is. Like it became greater. The big fish story, it became bigger than what it is. Instead of it just being like, oh, he has a disease. No, he's actually a creature, and it's something else entirely. Or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think something that kind of I've noticed ties in a lot with vampires and werewolves is like, what's the source of where they came from? Because there had to have been one to start all the rest of them in most cases. And I think a lot of times it comes down to like it being some sort of curse placed on them by like a witch or something. So like a hex placed on a person to become a wolf at this time of day or night, and then biting someone to then transfer the curse. So in a way, it's like a spell disease virus,
like
viral infection thing
from biting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that vampire's origin is Vlad the Impaler, because he would drink the blood of his enemies and whatnot after he like impaled them, and he was also from Transylvania, I believe. So then you have that connection there. Yep, that's what I got.
Well, we also get the callbacks to the original The Wolf Man from Hammer Films in 1950s. How'd you guys feel about the references to them? Because in American Werewolf in London, they come into the pub. They also see the star, the pentacle. And they're like, dude, that's just like the 1950s movie, the Wolf Man. And then in The Howling, on contrast, we have pictures of the Wolf Man scribed on his walls, as well as they watch the movie trying to get information to research for Eddie the Wolf.
Even the scene where blonde mustache dude is walking through the forest and he gets bit, and then I keep wanting to do that, but and then the werewolf dips and then leaves. It is very reminiscent of the Wolfman. That's like exactly how it happens in that one as well. It's just it bites him and then takes off, and then he has the curse.
Don't they also mention Bela Lugosi in an American?
Yeah,
Werewolf
they're like, that was a
London?
movie with Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah, like one of the original movies.
We did an episode on that.
Yeah, I know. We haven't gone back and done some older films in a while, so it'll be a good one. But I mean, I know some of the folklore around werewolves was related to like your association with wolves, because in the areas in Europe where it was common, that they had a lot of wolf sightings and people getting eaten, and sometimes people would either escape or they'd be totally fine living in an area with a lot of wolves, so they thought they were associated with them by being like some sort of charming, like a wolf charmer or something. And it grew like in the same time that people believe in witches, so they were accused pretty much the same way, where they're like, there's something wrong with you. And these attacks usually happened when it was like a full moon, mostly because you could see very well in the dark if the moon was out. So they connected the two, and then more folklore was made.
What if it's really just an intolerance of excessive back hair? They were just like,
just
you're
a hairy ass dude.
Jerry, you're too fucking hairy. Get the fuck out of the village, or we're gonna pike your ass.
Yep. Also brought to the United States by colonialism, though that was definitely spread by Christians who were afraid of witches and werewolves.
That makes me think of something. You were talking about the pentacle or pentagram that was drawn in the pub.
Yep.
So there is a thing that happens in a lot of witchcraft. If you want to keep evil entities out of a space, is to draw a sigil in lamb's blood. Notice the pub was called the Slaughtered Lamb.
Yep.
They slaughtered it for the blood, and then they mark a pentagram on the wall with the lamb's blood as a symbol of protection, which is why all the dudes were hanging out in the pub, not Halloween night, full moon night, to protect
Officially
themselves.
a safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space from evil entities.
They don't go to the moors.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
This even goes back to like the story of Moses as well, where you have like the
yeah.
spraying the lamb's blood on the door when like the fog of death rolls through, and they only tell the Hebrews about
Bible
it.
was gnarly.
Yeah, no, dude, Bible's metal as fuck. Like,
Old
it's
Testament.
gnarly,
it's,
dude.
it's
That
really
shit's
interesting because if you
brutal.
look back into a lot of the stories and just general rituals of
Mm-hmm.
Catholicism and Christianity, is that they're directly related to paganism.
Yep.
They're just kind of put under different names and given different stories, so you think, oh, it's Christianity. This is something different. This is
Right.
new. Nah, it's all paganism. Okay, all of it.
God, what are you feeling today?
Genocide.
Frogs. Lots
Oh, wait,
and lots
sorry.
of frogs.
Frogs, dude, and some
What about
locusts.
maybe some locusts?
Yeah.
7 days
You know
of them
what?
being fucking zooted.
Kill their fucking firstborn, not their second, their firstborn, the one they
first
care about the
one.
most.
What was that? Passover, I think is what it's like the
Yeah.
official name. Was when they were doing that, and then you get taught about it as a kid, and you're like, "Wait, what's happening?" As the firstborn child, you're like, "Wait, we got to
Yeah.
do what now?"
Do you remember seeing that cartoon? I forget what it was called. It was really famous, but they actually detailed the Passover, and how they had the spirit go through the land.
Oh,
and
do you mean the
kill-
movie?
Yeah, what was that called?
Yeah, the-
remember it?
Prince of Egypt.
Yeah,
I think.
Prince of Egypt.
Yeah, I watched that as a child.
was a
when I
legit
was
movie,
like,
though.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Still going to church and stuff, and I was
One-
like, I don't know if I like this religion anymore.
I do want to drop down that Rugrats did an entire like cover on like the Jewish faith and whatnot,
They
and like
did.
explained like that whole thing, which was very interesting.
Yeah, it's a potato pancake, Tommy. Eat it. What?
oh my god.
Malatka.
Also, they do not like to talk about the fact that these dudes who went into the Pharaoh's chambers to like tell him to let his people go, they had like a wizard battle in the middle of his fucking in the middle of his fucking floor where his staff turned into a snake. And then the other dudes had staffs and they all turned into snakes and then had a weird snake battle. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this wizard shit that's happening in the Bible?
Snake
and nobody
battle.
talks about it.
They just want to bring up quotes and make you feel bad about morality.
For real though, he was like, let my people go. And he was like, giant
Yeah, the
snake. He's
snakes.
like, I have a snake myself too. And then you're like, oh wow, all right. Shit.
My snake's bigger than yours.
No shit.
Obviously a dick joke.
It was just a big dick measure.
Yeah,
Y'all just whipped it
exactly.
out, really, but they
Yeah.
were like, I can't write down that all the priests just whipped out
Whipped
their
out their
dicks in the
dicks.
middle of this room, so we'll make them snakes and staves. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that'll
mystical.
work. It's fucking
Anyway.
metal, dude.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Well, this made me think, like, do you think, like, a cult colony is the ones shown in the Howling? Do you think they exist?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
what do you think that they practice?
That's one thing I actually really enjoyed because I was able to watch The Howling like a second time. And so I really enjoyed being able to see the characters that are revealed to be part of the werewolf cult and like watching them just kind of casually hanging out with people. And they do odd things. Like there's that line where they say, like, we don't need a dog. We've got whatever the fuck that guy's name is, the dude with the furry coat.
Yeah.
And they got him, and he's like running around like all intense. And at first, I didn't pay much attention to him. I'm just like, oh, he must be a good hunter or something. And then you watch again, and you're like, whoa, they were like dropping hints like throughout the movie. So I actually enjoyed the movie for that aspect where it really did kind of what's the word for it? It concealed who like the werewolf cult officially was entirely.
Yeah, I would be interested to see if like actual groups of people that go through transmutation like werewolves or vampires exist. I personally haven't seen it. I haven't seen any documentation on it, so I can't confirm that it's real or not. However, I do know that there are people who like to believe that they are.
Yeah.
There's definitely been a lot of news stories and Vice documentaries made about people that believe that they are somehow vampires or werewolves, and I think it's honestly just sort of like some
Wait,
like social bonding.
Wait, is that
thing.
that otherkin shit?
Yeah, it's like otherkin shit basically, but a
Oh,
little
I mean,
more creepy.
there is a funny documentary where they like go and I forget who the news source is, but they go and interview some like scene kids who all like have werewolf
Yeah,
stuff.
I
And they're
saw
like,
that.
We just wait for the full moon to come out, and like we turn into our werewolf.
If you want to become a werewolf nowadays, just go to the companions and Whiterun.
there you go, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That's how you do it.
Okay, so one of these big things that's like really glossed over in the movie of The Howling is like the portrayal of mental health towards Karen, because she goes through a traumatic
That's
event
true.
where like she calls in, she's dealing with a stalker that like constantly calls her and constantly like wants her to talk to her. finally goes and meets him, and then has a traumatic event where the cops kill her in front of him, and he transforms, and like you see the entire plot of the movie is her going to the colony to like fix her mental health issues with the trauma that she went through, but everyone's kind of just like throwing it under the rug. Like they really want her to talk about it, they really want her to just like get it out there, but she's not ready. And like I feel like that was a part of the problem that she had with Bill, because Bill was just like, I'm here for you, but you know what? I'm going to go hit this fucking wolf pussy. And just like...
Oh my God. Real shit, though.
Wait, what would you actually call wolf pussy? Because pussy implies cat, and cat and dog does not go together. Serious question.
Some canine pussy. I would call it some...
That doesn't
some
work.
wussy? I don't know. Wussy.
That doesn't sound right.
Pussy is wussy.
No, I hate it.
It sucks.
No.
Some pup tang.
Some pup tang.
Some pup tang. Getting some tail.
Oh, yeah.
No,
That
just
one.
reuse the doggy one. You have full
Yeah,
fucking
but
doggy.
Full
doggy.
doggy.
That's the thing. Like, how did you feel about, Bill's character just going completely off, and then like Karen having to deal with her mental trauma throughout this entire thing on her own? It's kind of like in the 80s, this was very new.
Yeah, like I feel like that's something that's really common of trauma survivors, is people that haven't experienced it themselves have no idea how to deal with or even talk about these sort of issues. And he wasn't really able to help her in any sort of way until he eventually went through it himself. But I guess his experience wasn't exactly traumatic. It was forced upon him, but then he came to it willingly.
True.
I feel like when you discuss trauma like is on like a scale, and it's also based off of personal experience. So
Yeah.
one trauma that someone experiences, they might experience a different trauma, and it might not affect them as much.
Mm-hmm.
Such as, I mean, if you've seen your whole family murdered or something like that in front of you, and then the rest of your life you've dealt with that trauma and you've moved past it, then other things might not affect you nearly as much. Whereas people think that, like, going to like sometimes some people have like social anxiety, whereas it's very traumatic for them to be in big crowds and things like that. And that's really traumatic for them just to deal with that, which to some people seems like not like, oh, that's not that bad, but to them it is. Because so trauma exists on like a sliding scale. It's on a spectrum of also based upon experience.
There is also the indoctrination of violence that is paired with the transformation of being a vampire or a werewolf, which is also tied to that trauma. We even talked about it when we were talking about the Lost Boys, how they're all sort of indoctrinated by like testing them, where they're like, we need you to do this. In the same way, they were all sort of indoctrinated through that violence.
Yeah, like
And
hold
so-
on to this fucking
Yeah.
railroad and just,
And just fucking
jump
drop.
off.
Yeah, and just drop off. They have this initiation sort of into their pack or their group of people, and they all have to experience it in order to be like truly part of that, but they want to be a part of that usually.
And I think in a way that kind of calls to the transformation that happens to trauma survivors, because
Right.
in a lot of cases that trauma could completely destroy them. But in other cases, that trauma almost serves as a source of strength for them. If they could go through that, they could go through anything. And they tend to be more crafty and more bold, willing characters than someone who hasn't experienced that same amount of violence or trauma.
I thought the ending scene where she confronts it and actually goes through with the transformation on camera in front of the news was very powerful.
Yeah, that was good.
Simply because like she went through this entire ordeal, survived through a badass scene of them like wrecking fucking werewolves, and then was like, I need to show the world what I've just been through. And a first, as they say, eyewitness account of the story.
That was one thing that made me sad about the movie, though, is that they ended up shooting her at the end after she went through a transformation. I really hope they let her live, because after that speech she gave, it sounded like she had some sort of new found strength in the lycanism, where she could actually control it and use her violence for will rather than it just being sort of an out of control thing. But then they shot her. And yeah,
Just like
that was it.
Just like they shot the doctor. They even have that moment where it's like, we need to go back to the old ways. You're fucking new way. Like such boomer talk from this old man that reminds me of my fucking boss, Ernie.
Yeah, right?
They always do that sort of thing, though. It happens with the vampires, too, where you have the new vampire. It happened in Blade, where Frost is like, you guys are old as fuck. Like, why are you guys doing this shit? We need to start eating all these people, and, like, has a different view than the older people do. In the same way, they were like, we're tired of just blending in. It's time to eat everyone. And then gets shot, and he's like, thank God, I don't have to deal with this shit anymore.
Right. The doctor was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with this.
Yeah. You didn't want to deal with the uprising,
Well,
rebellious teenage werewolves.
Well, how do you feel about the ending though? When everyone's on TV watching, like, oh, what happened? Oh, the lady on the news turned into a werewolf and they
Yeah.
shot her.
That was something interesting because I was like, yo, they just did this on live television. Like, somebody's got to believe this, right? But it just goes to show that, like, people are kind of disbelieving of everything. You know, you could actually transform for realsies on TV and
Yep.
they'd be like, wow, look at those special effects,
Yeah.
man. And it just makes me wonder what shit have we seen that was real that we didn't think was real.
Probably a lot.
I love the drunk guy who was like, that's true. She turned into a werewolf and they shot her. And he's like, you're plastered. He's like, well, it doesn't make it any less fucking true.
Yeah. I do also like the final line for the movie.
How do you want your hamburger, sweetie?
Rare. It looked like she was naked too because of the way that her hair was. But I mean, I'm sure it was just some skimpy outfit.
I mean, you gotta have a skimpy outfit if you're like the werewolf girl, of course. That was another thing that I didn't like about both these movies. They showed plenty of tits. Where was the dick, man?
Yeah, I was
wanted
fucking
some
mad about
dick.
that too.
No frontal male nudity.
I mean, like,
Bullshit.
you get a shot in American Werewolf, but like for a split second
Oh,
before he
when
goes
But he's
like
behind
like
a
way
tree.
at the distance. You just see like
Yeah.
a little bloop. That's his little weenie. That's it. I wanted full fucking zoomed in dick.
Yeah,
Some Spartacus cock on
Yeah,
here.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That show did not give a fuck.
I was watching this with a friend who was female. And I was like, "Are they gonna show the dick?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I've never seen this movie." And she was like, "Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's a dick."
Yeah, I said, wait, let me get my magnifying glass out. Yeah, there's a dick there.
So, did you guys have any favorite scenes from The Howling that you want to discuss?
I like the last scene with the burger on the grill.
Dear God.
It's a good ending.
Nasty ass grill. Yeah, that's it. I like
the
I like
worst
that.
burger making ever.
The whole Bright Boy scene is pretty great. I
Yeah, that was a good
definitely
one.
enjoyed that a lot. It definitely showed that he actually has the capability to act well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also him like pulling a bullet out of his skull was kind of
Just
cool.
digging in there.
And the hand, of course. I like the hand. That was some good practical effects too.
Dang, you took all the good ones.
Shit, sorry.
Favorite scene, just one, not three. Dang.
Sorry.
Gosh,
Wow.
Sorry.
stick to the rules.
I'm
God
sorry,
damn
man.
it.
I was machine gunning out my brain. I don't know what I'm doing.
Pew, pew, pew.
I can't really think of anything else, honestly. They're just like, it wasn't, I don't know why, but it wasn't super memorable, except for maybe like the practical effects scenes. But other than that, like the story was They didn't really put that much effort into it. They made a cool reference every now and again, but it was totally, people watched it for the gore.
Yeah,
That's really
Yeah.
what,
As
I
you
mean,
do
it's
with-
an 80s movie.
as you do with 80s movies.
Right, yeah.
I think my favorite scene is when she first goes into the adult shop.
Right.
And she's like, "No, don't look forward. Look at the movie." And it's super just like it's just like sus. You're just like, God, this is fucking creepy. I don't want to know what this guy looks like. And then he goes to the transformation, and you got fucking John Wayne up in here, just like.
Trigger happy cop.
And even the fucking old man is like, "Put your fucking chopper down."
God
Just like,
damn, dude.
Well, how does the fucking Miata
Just
how is the
explode.
Miata more? I mean, you'd think that the cop car would be a little bit reliable at least. You'd think it would start it up, but no, it's got starter problems. Of course, like
It's the middle of nowhere. Just kidding. I don't know where it's
It's
at.
a horror movie, and you're in it, and you're a woman. Can't fucking start the car for shit because movie logic.
Obviously. God.
That's a fucking trope.
It is. We discussed this on an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm gonna segue all the way back to London in 1981 of August to An American Werewolf in London.
Title's too long. Sorry.
Are you fucking serious?
I hate long titles. I
I
it's
could
just a
see
personal thing. I hate long titles.
Picky.
I'm very picky about that.
That.
If someone came to me and pitched an idea for a long ass name, I'm like, that's a working title, right? You gotta
Gosh.
shorten that.
Typical film student.
John, and I really don't like long movie titles because there's too many syllables for me to pronounce. I can't
Wow.
handle it.
I have a degree,
the
so I know
only-
what a good title sounds like.
Wow, guys!
roasted the fuck out of him.
it's the John Road.
Fuck all of you.
Bringing
This
down the
episode.
Grindhouse crew.
I bet you don't like pico de gallo on your Mexican food, huh? It's too spicy for you.
Oh.
He always complains my cooking's too spicy. Just saying.
Listen, I don't need you pouring half of the cayenne pepper bottle into a fucking thing that doesn't need cayenne pepper.
Everything needs cayenne pepper.
Oh my
You need a
God.
little spice in your life,
I
right?
swear, you made like sweet potato gnocchi the
we're
other day
not
and put
talking
fucking
about-
cayenne pepper in
we're
that. It
not
doesn't
talking
need
about
cayenne
my
pepper.
fucking
I
cooking
can't.
right
I
now.
can't believe you're bitching about cayenne pepper, bro. Is mayonnaise hot too?
I know, for real.
Hey, is that avocado too spicy for you?
Fucking one beer man over here talking to me about fucking spicy. What is this?
Yo, I eat all my Mexican food with a bottle of Valentina extra hot sauce.
Oh,
I've seen it.
That's my life.
I've seen it. It's on his
real.
desk.
It's real. It's always on
It's
my
real.
desk.
I got hot sauce in my bag.
Oh
Swag.
my
Yeah,
God.
let's
That's
Holy
me.
Hey, yo,
shit.
you know what I want to bring back? Bring back the sriracha bottle that goes on your fucking lanyard.
Oh yeah.
That's dope.
Whoa, there's a sriracha bottle on your lanyard?
Yep, you can order that shit on
Yes.
Amazon.
Sick.
But
Okay.
We digress.
We
digress.
digress.
We
Yeah,
digress
holy
in
shit.
here.
God
So-
Give
damn.
John a few punches.
so this movie was not directed by John, but it was directed by John Landis.
Yes, I directed this movie in the 80s.
If you know John Landis's work, he's done Animal House and the Blues Brothers movie.
Which both
Blues
suck.
Brothers. I
What
like
a-
that
I'm
movie.
just kidding.
What a fucking loopy
Ah.
transition
I
right
know,
there. Being
that
like, I'm
was-
gonna two comedies and then I'm gonna jump into
Boom.
horror.
Animal
after
House.
that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, he did Animal House.
How did he even get like brought in for that job? Like, hey, we saw Animal House. You want to do this?
Well, I'll explain that, John.
Because it's about animals. I don't know.
So the budget for this movie was 5.8 million, and it made 62 million in the box
Holy
office.
Fucking shit.
And the special effects were done by Rick Baker. He's very well known. He's done the effects for the Thriller music video. Michael Jackson fucking loved Rick Baker. Fun fact, they also got wait, who was that old man in the fucking Beetlejuice or the Edward Scissorhands that we said? Vincent Price, right?
Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price also did the fucking voice for that movie.
Oh hell yeah.
He also did special effects for Men in Black and Planet of the Apes, the 2000s version.
That's dope. Oh, okay, not the original.
Yeah, not the original, but
I mean,
you
it's
know,
still pretty good.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis knows how to play an ape pretty well.
He knows how to do all of the crazy facial motion capture stuff. Like he set the bar for that.
Yeah, and it's still fucking heard out to this day. I mean, like, he's the standard.
It's true. Also has the famous lines from that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Where's it? Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. And then he's saying it to a man, which is the best part.
So, for the cast, we have David Naughton as David Kessler, Jenny Agutter as Nurse Alex Price, Griffin Dunne as Jack Goodman, his first role ever, and John Woodvine as Dr. J.S. Hirsch, and fucking Yoda as Mr. Collins.
Yoda.
Frank Oz is in this fucking
yeah,
movie.
yeah, that's wild.
And this was before he worked on The Dark Crystal.
Oh.
So there's also, like, they actually play the Muppets in the movie as well, which is pretty great. And Frank Oz did voice those too.
Hell yeah.
So this movie was inspired by John Landis' experience working as a production assistant on Key's Heroes in the 1970s. Particularly as the time that he, as he put it, he watched a group of gypsies in Yugoslavia performing a ritual on a dead body so it would not rise again and rest easy. So while they were filming that movie, he watched this happen. And he was like, you know, it'd be cool fucking writing a script about that. Afterward, the original script for American Werewolf was written in 1969. He wrote it that year. He took inspiration from that and shelved it for over a decade because producers thought it was too funny to be a horror movie and too horrific to be a fucking comedy. So it was just like, nah, I don't want to do this. This is too gory. This is too funny.
It is pretty legitimately funny at several moments. So it could be probably considered a horror comedy.
Yeah, it is that's the thing. It is considered a horror comedy. I think it does well in both aspects.
Yeah, and that's hard to do.
Other than that, Polygram took the picture up 10 years later, and it was a massive success in the box office. And the film was the first movie to win an Oscar for Best Makeup, which was a new category they were recognizing in the 80s.
Oh, dang.
So they got the first award for that.
Oh, they got the first one. So, like, the year it got introduced, they were the ones who took it.
Yep.
Nice.
That's the only Oscar that they got for that. The film was shot in the Black Mountains of Wales. And this is the first film allowed to shoot in the Piccadilly Circus in Europe in about 15 years. He accomplished this by inviting 300 members of London's police service to a screening of the Blues Brothers, and they were like really impressed with this film that they granted the production a 2-night filming permit between the hours of 1 and 4 a.m., which is how they were able to do the entire scene sequence with the fucking the porno movie and everyone getting fucking wrecked by the fucking crashes. And then all the songs in this movie that are like made by other artists, they all reference the moon. You got Bob Vinton's Blue Moon, Van Morrison's Moon Dance, CCR's Bad Moon Rising, which I think is the best fucking scene in this movie.
Yeah, honestly.
Agreed.
And the Marcel's doo-wop version of Blue Moon. The transformation scene took many editing techniques and featured puppet work, animatronic bones, tissues, as well as plywood and shoulder pads used to make the effects. So a lot of effects were made for that, but it was like a very grueling experience for them to get the shots done.
Pretty clever editing if you watch it closely. They figured out how to make some of it seamless and then cut away for other parts that were probably more difficult, but it still works really well.
I think the leg part is the fucking scariest shit ever.
Oh, God, yeah.
But what were your initial thoughts on these movies?
I really like this movie. I like the interesting mix of humor and horror. A lot of times I feel like those two genres don't always go together, but in the way that they did this, there was enough gore and like the horror element, of course, of the werewolf transformation. But it had this lightheartedness, which almost made like the serious parts a little like difficult. Like the ending scene, I feel like that was difficult to watch because it was so lighthearted and happy up until then.
Yeah, the ending cuts pretty abruptly too.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just like you want more. But this movie is fucking hilarious. I mean, all the one-liners that David has, his experience with Jack, just like, you're dead. Yeah, but I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah,
just
his
like,
dead conscious friend just hanging out, giving him the what's what of being a werewolf. It's like, you killed me, man. You got to kill yourself now, or someone's going to kill you. Or you're going to kill more people.
Right.
I mean, it's also brings in that whole, when you kill somebody, you like their souls follow you around and sort of thing because they were murdered by a werewolf. So that was some really fun mythology they threw in there that really like broadened the story a lot. That's one thing I really enjoyed about this movie as well, is it did its mythology really well. It was like I want to say it was very grounded in itself in that respect. Yeah.
It was pretty well written too. They had some funny jokes in this. I especially liked the Mexican joke. I know it's racist, but holy shit, was that funny? Where he's just like, remember the Alamo? Yeah, and they tossed out the Mexican.
Could someone please look up that joke? Because we need to tell that.
We definitely should tell
that
that joke.
Great one.
But it's like, it's a hilarious joke. It's in a bar, a bunch of old British dudes, and he's like, you want to hear a joke?
You feel so uncomfortable when you go into this bar with these Americans. They're abroad. Yeah. They're trying to just go through Wales. Stay clear of the moors. Beware the moon, as they always say. But they go in there and it's completely silent, and they're like trying to order food. No food here. Trying to order juice. No juice here. Coffee. No coffee here. Okay, tea. Yeah, I guess. Do you have tea? No, but we could brew some if you want. Like,
I think it goes to show how a lot of places are not that friendly to outsiders, especially Americans. I feel like that's the case of a lot of European countries. They just don't like Americans. And honestly, I don't blame them. I don't like Americans either half the time.
Yeah,
Most of the time, actually.
We're all coming in with our fucking North Face fucking sweaters and shit. And they're just like, get out of here.
Get out of here.
You're not a reg.
So did we want that joke?
Oh, yes. Please.
You gotta do it in an accent, though.
Yeah, throw your best British countryman accent on.
You're tending sheep.
You're
drinking beers.
You got it.
I'm too tired to do that right now, so I'm just gonna read it.
No. Accent. Accent.
No.
Accent.
Yeah.
I just can't. It's not.
Just
it's
let
not,
the man
it's
read.
It's not the time right now.
Right.
So, an Englishman, a Frenchman, a Texan, and a Mexican are on a plane. The pilot says, "We don't have enough fuel to make it. We'll need to push out all of our cargo." The people all push out every last seat and bag what they have, and the pilot regretfully tells them that it is not enough. He says, 3 of you 4 will have to jump out of this plane. The Englishman says, "My country is very noble. Thus I will take my life for you. Long live the Queen!" And he jumps. The Frenchman, not to be outdone by the Englishman, yells, "Vive la France!" And he jumps. Finally, the Texan goes to the door and yells, "Remember the Alamo!" And he throws out the Mexican.
Fuck.
I don't know why, but that joke is hilarious to me.
It's definitely very funny.
It tickles my funny bone.
Also, it seems very American, not going to lie.
Yeah, honestly.
That's exactly what a Texan would do.
I like that joke. There's a lot of jokes that hit hard. How did you guys feel about the special effects, though? Transformation-wise and,
I think this transformation was better.
Yep.
I always think it's interesting in werewolf movies, the different takes on what a werewolf would look like. See, in the last movie, they were like these giant beast-like things, like 10 feet tall, huge ass ears, just ridiculous looking creatures. And in this one, he was actually more of like a wolf than he was like a man. And a lot of times you'll have just like men who are very hairy with claws and teeth, and like that's the werewolf transformation. But in this case, he actually turned into this rabid looking wolf thing, and I thought that was I like that take on the werewolf, actually.
I mean, they did so much more detail on this one as well. They got the feet stretching, got the hands stretching.
Yeah,
they
that
didn't
was
just
trippy.
do like my face changes and then claws grow out of my thing like what the Howling does. They do like the whole body transformation, as well as like it being a very painful process as well.
Yeah, you see all the bones start to ridge and pop out.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's always been a running theme. It's very painful to transform whenever you have to transform
I
into
would
a werewolf.
imagine, because the anatomy of
Yeah.
a canine creature versus that of a hominoid creature is very different. Very different. We walk on 2 legs, they walk on 4 in most cases. So what would that change in your bones and your muscular structure? It would change a lot.
Yeah, you know what that makes me think of? When we were watching Lovecraft Country. When she would pose as a different person and the skin would come off.
Would crawl out of her skin, basically.
Yeah, bloodied. So it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, I really liked the low camera work whenever they would be like really close to the ground, moving quick. It's kind of like what you saw in Evil Dead, where like it was like coming into the door and like blasting through the door and whatnot.
Blasting through the window.
Yeah. So they had the same effect where like they had a really low angle, like what a wolf would see when they're running.
Well, it's great that you bring that up because Sam Raimi says that this movie was inspiration for Evil
I figured,
Dead.
yeah.
So, I really like the transformation. The thing is, there's a real big contrast because in the Howling, it's very sexual. The guy he's fucking a fucking werewolf as he's transforming. You see the teeth, he gets the scratch on the back, but it's very different from this painful one. And I honestly think this is one of the better moments in the movie because you have Clearwater Revival's fucking Bad Moon Rising, and he's just going around the house just trying to figure out what to do. Opens the fridge and he's like, I'm not hungry. And then he like runs around a little bit more, opens the fridge, I'm still not hungry. It's just like, oh, and then he fucking rips off the shirt.
That's great.
Full fucking
Also,
machismo.
an American Werewolf in London has a better sex scene, not going to lie.
It does. It's very sensual. My point of view is that the American Werewolf in London had a better sex scene, and I felt like there was actual passion in there.
True.
I felt the passion, man.
But yeah, I think it's hilarious how he just whips everything out, just fucking gets his fucking jeans off, and just oh, and it's so over the top. David did a great job on that.
That's great.
So I guess there's just a lot of things. Like I wanted to bring up Jack, his character. Like this is his first role as a actor, and I thought he did really well as portraying an American who's going over abroad to meet a girlfriend that he has.
Right.
And then eventually just gets fucking mauled. And the effects on his mauled body, as you see it from a fresh body to a decaying body to almost a skeleton.
Yeah.
It's like they do such a great job portraying him. And he gets funnier every time he comes in. I mean, the first time we see him, he's like, "What's up, David? Can I have some toast?"
Yeah. Yeah, for real. He just starts eating it.
"You're not going to eat your toast? Let me get some butter."
Let me get some of that, bro.
And then, like, I think it was like I think it's like the third time they go to like the adult theater.
Right.
Oh my god. And
That was something that was interesting that was across both of these movies is the use of porno theaters and sex shops.
I think they were trying to make the impression or the idea that because they're werewolves, they're like tapping into some sort of primal nature, which is also connected to sex, as opposed to like vampires doing something different. Like they don't really, I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen as much sex in vampires. That's usually associated more with like the blood and like bloodletting as opposed to like that.
I mean,
as far as vampire movies, maybe not so much, but the vampire TV shows, always
Totally,
a lot of
yeah.
sex.
yeah, I mean, even Interview with a Vampire, he like literally bites a woman on her boob.
Yeah.
and like that like literally drains her that way.
That's
and
hilarious.
It's oh my god.
Isn't that a whole thing in True Blood? Like
Probably.
there are people who go after vampires because they want to be bitten while having sex because
Yeah.
it like gives you like an effect like a drug would.
Well, it's if you drink their blood. It's like a hallucinogenic,
Also that.
basically.
Yeah. So there's just a whole lot. They're adding it into the lore, I think.
That's the thing too with What We Do in the Shadows. There was the whole familiar thing where there's a group of familiars that get together and they're just like, I think we could do it. I think we could finally transform. And then they figure out the head of the company is just like fucking faking them the entire time. We're like, dude, come on. We just want to be fucking vampires. Like, give this to us.
I mean, the lines from that particular porno that are in there are also hilarious.
Yeah,
it's
they are.
It's like that. You've got your naked lady and you got your naked dude. No dick though.
Never.
Yeah,
dick
how are
at
you
all.
not going to show a dick in a porno? What the fuck?
Honestly.
And then you've got them. They start doing the thing. Start. Doing the horizontal mambo. And then the random like big jacked guy walks in. You said you'd never do this, and she's just like, "Who are you?" And he's just, "I don't know." And then he leaves. And then he just leaves.
You're not supposed to be in here. Yeah, you're right. Just
You're right.
leave.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not supposed to be here.
God damn.
I think there's also a moment in this movie, in the porno, where like the lady like answers the phone in the middle of it.
It's great.
I forget what she says, but I'm like, man, who answers the phone during sex? Like, what decade is this?
Obviously the 70s.
They only answer fucking phone calls and porn. Just like, oh, what's up, Dad? Yeah, I'm hanging out. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, we're watching some movies. Yeah.
While getting railed.
That's
like,
yeah,
all
that's the
that.
same porno movie where people do shit like on the couch next to the other person and they just don't notice. That's the
They're,
kind of
like,
porno
sleeping.
logic.
How does that work? Are you
Yeah.
so unaware? Porn
Maybe,
logic.
possibly.
Hey, that other guy, he's got important business meetings to attend to. He's got a lot
Right.
on his mind. It's not-
How did you feel about David's character waking up in a zoo? I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That was a really good bit.
just like they're not even mad at him. They look up to. He's the alpha.
Yeah, right.
Because he's this huge fucking thing. And I think the most impressive shot in this movie is when the guy is fucking chasing him in the subway. And he's like, I'm going to call the fucking authorities if you come after me. And then you just see on the bottom of the escalator just this huge, hulking fucking beast of a creature. And then, and then it relates back to Jack. He's like, oh yeah, remember those people you killed? They're right here in this theater with me. Meet Marcy, meet Jack, meet Will. That you killed them all. They're like, yeah, you got to kill yourself. And they all contemplate on how he should kill himself too. A gun would do it. Yeah, you should buy a gun. It's easy.
Like, do I need silver bullets? Nah, man. Any bullet will do. That's also interesting, too, again, with the lore, is how in a lot of cases you'll need, like, something silver in order to kill a wolf. But in this case, you just kill them. That's it. You just shoot them with something.
Yeah, that was kind of weird because they make a big deal about it in the Howling. Like, they do the Chekhov's gun with these bullets are real silver. Some fucking jackass ordered them, never picked them up.
It's true.
And then in this movie, it's just like, get the rifles, fucking policeman. Let's kill this fucker.
The dream that he has while he's in the hospital.
Oh, with
We're
the
like-
fucking Nazi zombies.
the Nazi werewolves that like wander in or whatever. Oh my god.
That shit was
I-
over
I-
the top.
Yeah, no, it was so B, like more
was the
B
best.
than both of these movies. Especially when she gets shot and she just like fucking like clotheslines in like the whole opposite direction of them. All the while the Muppets are playing in the background.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Shit.
What a fever dream. Shit.
The guy that slit his throat, the like werewolf SS soldier, was actually the special effects guy, Rick Baker.
Hell yeah.
So he just wanted to be in that movie just to get that
He's like,
fucking.
can we just do this one scene?
Yeah, please.
Please,
please.
guys.
The idea of a werewolf SS soldier coming in your house and laying waste to your fucking family sounds terrifying. A fever dream or not, it's fucking scary.
Then has the double wake up where the nurse is near him.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like,
Shot again.
that's the thing. What do you guys think about that? Like, you can't trust the narrative in this movie sometimes.
Not at all.
But
I
it's
mean, yeah.
good fucking
It
writing.
worked well.
I really like the writing in this movie. It's
Yeah.
also shot really well. Like, the thing is with the Howling, you understand that it's a 1980s like horror movie with werewolves. But the thing is with American Werewolf in London, you kind of feel like it's a little bit something more because
I honestly thought that this movie was kind of ahead of its time, especially with like the writing, the dialogue, the mix of humor and horror. I think this could have been made in like this decade, and still been like just as successful. Just threw in some different actors,
I
you
feel
know?
like they did a remake of this.
Yeah.
I think they did a remake of this movie, or it was like a London Werewolf in New York or something like that.
In 1991, 10 years later, they made a sequel called American Werewolf in France.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
But-
What's
See,
up
I
with
knew
all
it.
these American werewolves? They're just fucking everything up for European countries.
It does contain some of the characters from the original, but it did not do nearly as well and didn't have John
Figured.
Landis or Rick Baker behind it.
They should have waited longer and just done a remake.
Yeah, that makes
I want a
sense.
remake. Hey guys, please, if you're listening to this, make a remake.
So I wanted to ask you, do you guys have any favorite scenes from this movie?
I like the balloon thief.
Yeah.
So homeboy wakes up in the zoo naked, just got back from his werewolf days, and he's like, oh man, I gotta get home. But he's naked. How do you get home when you're naked? Steal some balloons from a poor little British boy.
Hey,
You want a pound? 2 pounds. And I'm the balloon thief.
why are you a balloon thief if you offer me 2 pounds? Mommy, a naked American lad fucking stole my balloons.
Mommy!
Sounds on brand.
She seems very concerned as well. Her child's balloons were stolen. She's like, my goodness, what monster would do
What
something
kind of
like
monster would steal
Little
balloons?
did you know.
I like I said, the subway scene where slowly
Yeah,
just shambles
really
up.
good.
It's scary, man. It hits me.
The zoo scene is still really funny to me. Just him like having to run out naked was just way too
And
funny
like
to me.
stealing clothes
Yeah,
along the way.
it was just so funny because it like it totally takes you out of the movie because you're like, wait, there's just a dude running naked
I
around.
like that they actually showed the process of him trying to get home, because I feel like a lot of times the movie, if they would throw something so ridiculous
Yeah.
in there, they never explain how they eventually got home when they're just butt ass naked in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, there's that moment too where he's like in line to get something and he's in a fucking full woman's coat.
Yep.
And
That's
the guy,
it, just the coat.
yeah, the guy looks at him like, what?
And he's just over here whistling, having a great time.
Just opens his coat. You want to buy some watches?
Yeah.
It works great. I liked it a lot.
I think that one of my favorites is probably like the opening, like maybe 20 minutes of the movie. Just like all of that, like they introduce like the people that clearly
Yeah.
know something is up. And then they like the two like, chuckleheads that are coming in from America who don't know shit.
Chuckleheads.
And then like they just like, I mean, that whole like the whole first attack is like really vivid and really intense. And I think that really like set like a whole tone that they could later like subvert with humor.
That's the thing. Like they go into this area and then it's like, well, you gotta tell them it's fucking murder if it isn't. And then they're like, no, we can't go out there. And I think one of my favorite lines is from Jack. It's like, oh, I think it's going farther away, not far enough.
They seemed like they were actually friends when the movie starts. Like their chemistry on set to be friends like that
Yeah.
worked really well, to the point where it's like, oh yeah, they seem like they've been friends for a long time. Especially he's like, you're not having a good time. He's like, no, why the fuck would I be having a good time right now? Like, this
the
is
little
awful.
just casual dialogue between them in the beginning, I felt really set the tone for sort of like the humor aspect that was prevalent throughout the movie. Like they're even joking about like some girl he was trying to get
Right.
with. Like maybe she'll meet me in Rome.
Yeah, I love that. They also joke about the candle in the bar where he's just like, why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him why they have that candle? He's like, I'm not going to fucking ask them about the candle. And like they're bickering back and forth as like everyone is staring at them. Like, why are you in this bar right now?
You made me miss my dog.
I love that dude. Also, that dude is really young in this movie. He's shown up in like a whole bunch of different movies, but his face is so fucked up that you're like, oh, this is a very young version of this actor. Although I don't know his name right now, which is bad.
The darts board player.
Yeah.
Yeah, who later like confesses that there's something evil here to
Yeah,
the doctor.
exactly.
I thought that was really well done. Like this town knows something, but they're not going to tell you. I'll get the name of that actor. Give me 1 second. Doop, doop, doop.
Do 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 do. Do, 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 do,
Oh, that makes me sad. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek.
Oh.
Bro, why'd you have to throw it? This is supposed to be a lighthearted moment.
Hey, you're the one who did the Jeopardy music.
you didn't have to bring that up, man.
That happened like last week.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck.
Fresh.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
Fuck your mother, Trebek. Anyway.
Oh,
The anger, this vitriol being spat around the room.
Come on, you guys have seen that Saturday Night Live bit.
yes. So the actor you're naming, John,
Go ahead.
his name is David Shofield.
There you go.
He was in Gladiator, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Valkyrie.
Yeah, he was the right-hand man for Beckett in
Valkyrie?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, he was Mercer.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. He has a very recognizable face.
He's got those facial scars. Probably, it's like acne scars, I think, that like just dig into your face.
Ooh. But good actor.
Yep.
I really felt he was scared. Other than that, though, not much really to say. Do you guys have a rating for both of these movies?
For The Howling, I'd give it like a 6. And for An American Werewolf, I'll give it like a 7. Enjoyable. Not too memorable for most things, but worth the watch. And again, another movie to watch with the group.
I'm going to go with a 7 for The Howling and an 8 for American Werewolf in London. I think they're solid movies. If you're trying to look into the year of the Lycan, as many horror fans reference it to, these are pretty good picks. American London and Werewolf is a little bit of the better movie here. It's a lot more funnier and, like you said, good with friends.
I think I'd give The Howling a 5.5 because it's entertaining. That's it. And I'd give An American Werewolf in London a 6.5 because I like the writing. That's it. I don't like werewolves.
Stop.
I think I will go with. I'm gonna go with a 6 for The Howling because it had a little bit of depth to it, but it was really honestly a snore fest for like the first like 30-40 minutes of that movie. And then with American Werewolf, since this is a glorious B movie, it's going to get a B, an 8. Yes, and it was really well done too.
Cool. Well, with that, I think we're going to conclude this episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse. If you would like, please check us out on all of our social medias. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We also are streaming on all services, including Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and many other sites. Also, please check out our Patreon for bonus content behind the scenes with all of the cast members. We also have merch. We now have shirts on our what is the website?
Teespring.
Teespring.
Yep.
We have 2 designs, one with a really cool castle and one of our logo with the BDTGH insignia. So go check that out. They're pretty cheap. Come rep the fucking podcast, and I hope everyone has a great night.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Murr.
Hi, I'm Justine.
And I'm Jonathan. Thank you.
Actually, bye, I'm Justine. Bye!
You get 1 beer.
Okay.